global race for graphene.
You know, it's not just limited to one little thing.
One of the greatest discoveries of the 21st century.
Graphene could be the key to a lot of mind-blowing technology.
But that was almost 15 years ago. Where are all of the graphene wonders that we were promised? The bulletproof armor, the graphene circuitry, the ultralight airplanes, the graphene medicine, a space elevator.
So the next time man walks on the moon, maybe he'll take the elevator to get there.
It's becoming very, very hard to avoid because it's being found in so many things. Literally, it was raining on their cars. This nonsense, which just shows you that they're spraying it in the skies. You know, they were finding black dots on their cars and their windshields. People were using magnets and pulling it off. And literally the news would show up and they'd be like, we don't know what it is. We'll get back to you.
Rain is not very common in the valley, but these droplets falling in the northeast are something else entirely.
Yeah, apparently it's a dark-colored liquid that's kind of oily to the touch, falling from the sky and covering a neighborhood near Charleston and Hollywood. People here in the eastern part of the valley are completely perplexed over these brown, black, almost oily-looking droplets that are falling from the sky. They're everywhere. They're over all of these cars. They're over an RV in the back of the lot. They're all over this basketball court. The big question is, what are they, and why are they falling from the sky?
Clearly, lots of the buzz never went anywhere. But graphene does exist. Engineers have gone from making one fleck at a time to producing it by the barrelful.
You want to try to pick it up?
Sure. So the graphene revolution we were promised may already be in motion.
I think that's fairly definitive. So what we want to know now, is it the medicine inside, is it the capsule? What's creating the magnetism? Let's drop this up. Oh, off we go, everywhere. Sorry about that, clumsy hands. Okay, and what we're going to do is pop this capsule into some hot water. We're going to leave it for 5 minutes to dissolve. You see it in there right now, and we'll let that do its business. Nothing on the powder. Nothing on that bit. Let's have a look and see how our friend gets on in 5 minutes with the black coating on there. We'll cut. Fluoxysilin. After 5 minutes with the ingredients dissolved, let's see how our friend graphene oxide is coming along. That's time to apply the magnet. Oh. Look at that. Leading it away there with the magnet, good old graphene oxide.
There's even some talk of using this sort of nanotechnology to target drugs. So if we attach a specific drug to the nanoparticles here, we could put it in an entire body and it would all be dilute. But if we target an organ with a strong magnetic field, we can actually cause all of the drugs to go.
So if we attach a specific drug to the nanoparticles here, we could put it in the entire body.
Just a bit of hot water from a kettle, a magnet. So that's actually the sheathing of that drug, which appears to contain the magnetic material. Check all of your medicines, people. This graphene oxide is everywhere.
In fact, I wonder how much the fibers could be activated by simply eating microwave food or speaking on a cell phone. And that wouldn't surprise me either. It's very revealing to see what actually happens when a person is speaking on a cell phone. There was a man who developed a particular form of photography recently where he was able to show the electromagnetic fields that are created when someone is walking with a cell phone or when someone is speaking on a cell phone. And when you think that everything that exists in nature resonates at around 7.2 hertz, not much above that, about 7 to 10 hertz is probably the maximum anything in nature resonates at. And you look at the frequencies we are introducing with the microwave technology and the mobile phone technology, the wireless technology we're using, which is up in the billions of hertz, and now we're getting up to the 5G system, which is a millimeter wave higher than all the others, so high in fact that it's going to start affecting the cell structure of all living things around it.
Good morning, guys. So I saw a video the other day of showing how the ink, well, the black on Nurofen tablets that we think is ink is actually graphene oxide. And I decided to do the test myself. Now, it confirmed it to me after 2 tablets in the water, but what I did was I put in a whole week's worth of Nurofen into a glass. Now I'm just going to swirl it a little bit because there's quite a bit of tablet debris at the bottom, but what I want to show you is the graphene oxide in the tablets. Can you imagine? This is just a week's worth. If you've been taking Nurofen for a year, how much of this stuff is in your system?
And with the advent of things such as the D-Wave computer system and the new quantum computers that they're building and the 5G grid, it's about to be taken to the next level. And what we are heading for is a surveillance system and a lockdown of unprecedented proportions. And not only that, the very real possibility that we are going to be hooked up to this grid ourselves. And this is going to be done without our knowledge, and that it's going to be through biological modifications that are being made to the human race. And that may sound pretty out of this world, folks, but it seems to be happening in the world right now, unbeknownst to the people. Everybody is being genetically altered. The human race is being genetically modified, and it's not just happening via the chemicals and the plastics, it's also being achieved via other means. And this has been done via Morgellons and the 3-strand DNA that I would suggest they are bringing online in everybody. And this is going to be hooked up, I would suggest, to the 3-strand DNA computers that they are building. And these are, like I said, quantum computers and supercomputers such as the D-Wave system and the Titan system. It's the smart grid itself, which is the New World Order. And that's what nobody's noticing. They're externalizing everything. They're looking around at all these different countries that are threatening each other and thinking there's going to be bombs flying across the sky and all sorts of stuff. And sure, they do a bit of that just to keep people distracted and get people to think that it's all real and it all means something. And it's to put the fear of war into others so they can bring this smart grid online. The smart grid itself is the problem. That's the lice that are crawling across the carpet while everyone's trying to keep the dogs at bay that are trying to get in the windows. Everyone's distracted with what is attacking their house from the outside, but they're not looking at what is crawling along the carpet right beneath their feet. You know, I suggest people really look at what is being rolled out around them and really pay attention to where this is leading and how quickly it is leading us there. Because I'm sure no matter what you're researching, no matter what rabbit hole you have your head down, if you can begin to see that this rabbit hole is going to be closed to you very soon if you don't pay attention to this grid, perhaps that will provide the motivation that people need to actually pay attention to this and to create some unified response to what is being rolled out around us. If they're bringing it online without our knowledge, which I would suggest they are, you know, if you look at Morgellons and you look at the GM food, put it all together, you know, you put it all on the table together and put all the pieces of the puzzle together, and this is where it leads to.
Going to use an electrolyzer on tap water to make visible the total dissolvables in the water. So the tap water, we can also test with a TDS meter, and the reading we get on the TDS meter is quite high at 422. But we don't know what of that reading is bad and what is good in regards to minerals, etc. So the electrolyzer will enable us to get a better picture based on how the substance looks. Dark, gunky, or clearer. So let's check it out. So basically, we put the electrolyzer into the water before it's switched on, and obviously be very careful because you can electrocute yourself very badly. So you have your plus and your minus in the water. So already we have an idea that's not looking too good. So whatever bad stuff is in the water, there's plenty of it. Already we can see that. From the dark. And then the darker it gets, the worse it is. So it's pretty bad. Okay, so we don't really need to go anymore as it starts to boil the water. So you can see all of this stuff now in the water. Doesn't look too good. Wouldn't fancy drinking this. We can also do a magnetic test. And we discover how magnetized this solution is, or these substances. Not for human consumption.